Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man 2 Gamerverse. That's still the corniest thing ever. Venom. This is the Venom from the new Spider-Man game, and it's got some contention behind it, I guess. Some people are saying it looks really goofy, some people are saying it looks really good. A lot of you guys asked me to review it, even though I don't tend to go near the game stuff too much anymore. So I figured, what the heck, I like Venom, he's my favorite Spider-Man villain, I might as well review it. And so here we have it. So let's go ahead and get this guy off the stand so we can take a closer look. Before I show you the figure, I do want to show you my package. It is a nice package, nice big window in the front, shows the figure and the accessories, very, very good. It has the different color scheme for the Gamerverse stuff, but still, that's fine. Venom looks nice in there, and then you get some artwork, or I guess it's game art. I don't think it's actually a screenshot, some kind of render from the game. There it is again. They love using the same art over and over again. Is it on this side too? Yeah, it is. Okay. But this is a good example. Like, there's some foreshortening here, but it shows you what he looks like pretty well. You get a whole body shot there. And it shows you really what's wrong with the figure. But there's a lot right with the figure too. Kind of, sort of. We're going to find out. So let's go ahead and set this aside. It's a decent enough package for you inbox collectors. I'm curious, how many of you are inbox collectors at this point? Is that still a thing? Are you guys still doing that? I don't know if that's a wise investment these days with the production numbers being what they are, but let me know. Alright, so I do have a link for this guy in the description below at Big Bad Toy Store. He's in stock. They are charging more than other places for this. I don't know what's going on with that, but if the other places aren't available, well, at least you have the link down there if you want to get it at Big Bad Toy Store. You guys can tell me how you feel about that. Okay, he stands about 10, let's call it 10 5/8 inches tall. That's going to make him roughly, call it 25 centimeters, give or take. Here he is up against Darwin, the protagonist from the game. And so you can see he's quite large. And Venom's really big in the game, so that it seems like a good scaling. Alright, so let's do a question of the day, other than the one about collecting in the box. Would you add this to your collection even though it's from the game and you don't collect game figures because it looks like Venom? I think I could easily see this guy fitting in. Like, he's gigantic, but you could easily throw this guy in the comic collection, I think. So would you do it, or wouldn't you? I haven't decided if I want to or not yet. I mean, I'm going to keep him, but I don't know if he's going to get mixed in or just set aside and forgotten. Alright, so let's talk about this guy. First things first, when he was first shown, everybody was talking about the long legs. His legs are too long, his legs are too long, what the heck, he looks weird. I don't think the legs are too long. I think they look fine based on the source material. In the game, he's got a longer build, that's fine. I think the problem with this figure is the way they sculpted the body. Sculpting the body the way they did makes his proportions look weird, and they're really not that weird. His legs aren't very long at all. Everything lines up pretty much like it would normally, slightly exaggerated for Venom. It seems fine to me. The problem really is in here. They made this part very thick. If that was narrower and his chest was broader and his lats back here actually had some mass to him, if he had the right build for the upper body, everything would look better. If you look at it from the side, he doesn't look like he has long legs at all. He looks fine from the side because you don't see any of those weird proportion tricks. But from the front, it makes him look weird because they made his chest really bubbly. It pops out really far, like this, and it's a little bit of a weird shape for pecs. But the reason it's mostly weird is because of the way they cut in the butterfly joint and the way they did this. They didn't do very much organic sculpting at all for the chest and abs. It's very flat looking. And then this area, also, Hasbro refuses to put collarbones in their figures. There's no clavicle, there's no real shape to the pec at the top, and then there's no real shape to the traps up at the top either. It makes the figures look weird. And this Venom doesn't have much of a neck in the game. I think this one has a little bit less than he should have, and that throws him off too. But once you pose him, I think he's gonna look okay in terms of the proportions and whatnot, because, like I said, as soon as you turn him like this, he looks normal. He looks pretty much normal, so that's fine. Now, as far as the detail work on the figure, like, the whole thing is covered in the texture, just like the movie Venom, and that's fine, but that's it. It's just solid black plastic other than the white, which is sculpted on, but they still managed to mess up the paint job. If you look, it's fuzzy down there, it's fuzzy right there. It's like they had one thing to do, and they really just couldn't get it. There's a lot of fuzzy. Luckily, you could easily repaint the black on this guy with like a satin, or I think semi-gloss would probably be too much, but you might be able to get away with it. Maybe mix those two. A lot of fuzziness in here. You could easily edge up those white spots. I mean, you shouldn't have to. I'm not justifying. I'm just saying if you bought it, get some satin and semi-gloss black. I'm guessing you're somewhere in between there to fix this guy up, and you'll be just fine. But that's it, and then you have the head. So let's talk about the head a little bit. He's a little tall, so let's adjust the camera. The sculpt work is fine. I know some people hate the head. I mean, that's what he looks like, so okay. But they didn't do a particularly great paint job. Like, it's very basic for being a larger figure that costs $60. I didn't mention that yet. He costs $60. We'll get into that a little bit more. Maybe I did mention it. I think I did. I don't know. It's heck getting old. But yeah, like, the head's fine. The alternate head's better, but it's just fine. So yeah, is it okay from the aesthetic perspective? It's fine. I think it's better than a lot of Hasbro figures. If you look at the leg shape, it actually is shaped properly. We have the meaty thighs, and then the muscle groups are there. The knees pinch in. The calves are a little bit weird. I think that's another thing that probably makes the legs look weird, is they didn't really give him calves. His lower legs are sculpted like female calves rather than male, and that doesn't just mean less muscular. It's a different shape for the muscle heads, and that's what this looks like. They didn't quite do his legs right, so that's a little bit weird. But otherwise, like, he looks generally okay. But yeah, so aesthetically speaking, I will give him, I want to say, if the paints were clean, I'd give him an 8. But they're not clean, and they did weird things to the body. And for $60, I'm giving it a 7, and that's probably generous. $60 Hasbro product is just nuts. There's almost no Marvel Legends figure that ever could justify a $60 price point, unless they change the way they do things with like an all-new system of articulation. I'm not going to keep making those jokes. I'm reviewing the Hulk after this one, so you guys will see the Hulk before this probably. Anyway, okay, that's the aesthetic. Let's talk about the accessories. We have the alternate head, which looks really nice. I like it. I don't like the fact that we either have the really tiny grinning head or the wide open mouth. Those are your only options. I would like something in between personally. I know a lot of people aren't as big on the big tongue, so having an option would be nice. Does it pop off? No, I'm gonna break it. Okay, so it doesn't pop off. You do get some drool you can put in there. I guess that's cool if you want that. I don't think it looks very good, but it's fine. For hands, you get the the two open hands, and then you get the 2 fist hands. That's it. And then you get his tendril arm, which is fine, but it's a totally different finish. It's like a matte finish rather than the shiny that everything else has, so that kind of sucks. So his accessories are gonna get a 6 out of 10. That's not very good. Like, yeah, it's a big figure, new sculpt, but $60 for a large Marvel Legends figure is still crazy, and they don't give you anything to make you feel better about it. Like, it's just not enough. Hasbro products don't require that kind of price. That's it. There's nothing good enough about it. So let's get into the articulation and see. Maybe it poses maybe it poses really well. All right, let's see. So we have for the head a double ball peg, but as usual, they sunk that ball peg in there really far. Now, they did do a little bit better. They made the peg part narrower, which I've been telling them to do forever. Not that they did it because of me, but that does allow a little bit better range. But you'll see, he still doesn't have, like... It's fine. It's decent. But for a double ball peg, it's still incredibly limited. They still just refuse to do that effectively. So, the neck kind of blows. The shoulders, we have the butterfly joint going forward. It only kind of works at that angle, just a little bit, but it basically has no range going forward. And going back, you get a little bit. So, this is one of those situations where I know a lot of people say, oh, it needs to have a butterfly joint, and yeah, they can be useful, but you're chopping up what would otherwise be a much better sculpt to get a few millimeters of range. Is that as important as making the figure look good in the first place? I would argue no. Some people would argue yes, you can decide for yourself, but the butterfly joint doesn't work that well. For your shoulder, full rotation, goes up better than horizontal, that's fine. Bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbow, but here's a thing that just grinds my gears. This part should never be sticking up. The middle part, the hard piece, that should never be sticking up. And it is, but that's not even the problem. Watch what happens when you do this. The way they did it, it gets really gappy. You don't need that space there. Hopefully you can see what I'm talking about if I brighten it up some. Yeah, you don't need that big old gap in there. And it makes the elbow look goofy. He's got good range, I'll give him that. But it doesn't need to look like that. It doesn't need to look so segmented. And you definitely don't need to do this. So, Hasbro never does that. So I don't know why they did that. His arm looks really bad when it's bent. That looks really bad. No reason for it at all. That's very, very strange, because they never do that. That's a Todd thing. Strange. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge, and that's fine. Now, get ready for They're stuck on this joint. They will not stop doing the reverse ab crunch in the diaphragm joint. So let's see how it functions. Ball peg up here. Leans back very nicely, which you would say is good, I guess. If you didn't have an ab crunch right here, okay, we'll see. So he leans back pretty nicely, barely leans forward at all on that joint, which is super strange. Leaning to the side, it wants to, but the way they sculpted it, it can't go anywhere. There's nowhere for it to go. So very limited range to the side, and you're going to get rotation, but it wants to fight you, and that's because they do that faceting on their ball pegs, usually, and that's a problem. So he leans back. That's basically the utility of that diaphragm joint up there. Let's see about the ab crunch. Oh, come on. It can't work? He can't lean back. The ab crunch doesn't work. What are you kidding me, Hasbro? It doesn't lean back. Can it lean forward? It doesn't work. Like, there's some kind of ratchet in there that's... It just doesn't... It doesn't work. Wow. What a pathetic, pathetic thing. It has to be the Hasbro design team, or whoever's in charge of them, somewhere along the line... I'm not Hasbro, I'm sorry, Marvel. Somewhere along the lines in the Marvel product line, there's a problem in personnel. Somewhere. Whether it's the people at the top, the people making the figures, I don't know. Brand new sculpt, $60 Hasbro product, and the torso doesn't work. Almost at all. The best part is the ball peg goes back at the top. That's it. They didn't make him super pregnant, so that's nice, but that's it. No waist twist. Ab crunch doesn't work. That's just pathetic. Bring the leg forward. You get up to horizontal. That's fine. Going back, not really anything. Going out to the side. Almost the split. No, not almost. Far enough. But unlimited, unreasonable limitations. Not necessary. Unnecessary is what I should have said. Limitations. Thigh swivel is fine. Double jointed knee. That's fine. Proportioning is definitely good enough. Again, we don't need that big gap in there. You don't need that. You ideally want these two pieces to be touching. And you can see, like, if you just mushed that together right there, you'd still have all the range you need, and you wouldn't have that giant gap. Maybe you wouldn't be able to do that. You don't need to do that. So, ugly knee. I mean, it's fine, but it's not anywhere near as good as it should be. You do get a boot swivel if you want that. That's a really weird choice to put on there. Did they make a bad ankle rocker? That would be the only reason for that. Alright, so the foot goes back pretty far. Oh, look at that. Look at the freaking thing separating as I'm trying to move the ankle. The plastic Hasbro uses sucks. Okay, so the ankle goes forward far enough, back far enough. Ankle rocker. The ankle rocker's pretty okay. Like, they really didn't need to add the swivel in here, but it's not that it's super ugly, but it's loose. And as you move it, it gets looser. Like, move the joints, it gets looser and looser, so that's a problem. Toe hinge is the way I've been saying to do toe hinges, so that's a good thing. Nice and smooth right there, no big lips or anything, so that's good. And you get good range, but it is floppy, so that'll be a problem. So it looks to me like it's a typical Hasbro product. I'll give the articulation a 6 out of 10. It's got some joints that work and some that don't. 6 is not a good score. You should keep in mind my scoring is basically what it would be for if you were in school and getting graded on a test. A 60, not a good score. And that's what the biggest, arguably, let's say the biggest action figure company out there is putting out on a regular basis. So yeah, it's gonna be okay. If you want to get it, stick it on your shelf. It's a big Venom that's reasonably accurate to the source material with all of the usual Hasbro problems. Weird sculpt, bad paint to no paint, and articulation that doesn't work with limited accessories. So, is it worth $60? Not even close. Is it the worst thing you could buy? Like, could you just justify it if you really like the character? I guess. I mean, the figure itself is not inherently terrible. If this was a $40 figure, it'd be getting a much higher score. But $60 is a whole new threshold for relatively standard releases because we have Maximum Hulk now to talk about. But it's just not enough. Hasbro doesn't put any care or effort into the products they make. He needs a big chest, and the butterfly doesn't work, so they ruin two things for no reason. This articulation doesn't work, and the sculpt is weird. Two things. No reason. This whole section is just not good for no reason. So that's really disappointing. So yeah, 6 out of 10 is my final rating. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but that's it for me. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you didn't, well, give it a thumbs up anyway. I mean, you made it this far. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.